not Zoom, YouTube Live, right? We are going to YouTube Live here, and it's just preparing to stream our webinar. And good evening again. Welcome, welcome everybody. Hiya, hiya. Hang on a second while this thing starts up.
On
Okay,
Zoom, looking
YouTube
good,
Live.
right?
Okay, we are broadcasting live on YouTube as well as we do every Sunday night. Sunday night spectacular. That's what we're going to call this. All right, a lot of people still coming online, folks. Come on in, gang. Lots of right here up at the front. Yes, Ralph, everything is just a okay. What do I got a left black eye? I don't have a black eye. Where do you see the black eye? On my picture, that's that picture there is me with my beloved dog, Lucy, who passed away 3 weeks ago now. And we miss her terribly, terribly, terribly. 12 and a half year old Bernese Mountain Dog. Normally lives 6 to 8 years old, but we end up getting some more time out of her. So we're very happy about that. So anyway, you are there. We are here. Let's get the record button. Here we go. All right. And good evening again, everybody. And welcome to DayTradeSPY.com's Week in Review. And my name is Hugh. We gave John the night off here. John does Wednesday nights. I do Sunday nights. Just makes things a little bit easier for us, right? And we are broadcasting on remote from sunny Florida. That's where we belong. Okay, in March, in February, and January as well, and probably much of December. Yeah, maybe even April. We'll see what happens. Okay, all right. I see a lot of people joining us here. Lots of people. Let me see. Who do we have here? Okay, yeah. All right. They're all coming online. All right, a couple reminders, folks. First of all, I get very excited, very passionate about what we talk about sometimes, so then I tend to speak a little bit too fast. If you find that's the case, please don't hesitate to tell me to slow down. And if I talk about any technical terms that you might not understand, don't worry about it. You're not missing anything really, okay? And if you do get totally lost, just ask me to, maybe tell me in different words or whatever. So, and I trust you can hear me okay. Is that all right? The audio is okay here with you guys? Tell me in the questions box. And that's the third thing here, folks. Questions box, you'll find the icon on your Zoom dashboard. Just click on that. And I am the only one that sees the questions. So go ahead and say whatever you want. And of course, if you have any questions, put them in there as well. So do I get a yes at all? You can hear me okay? I just want to make sure. If I don't get it, okay, audio is great. Good, 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 good. Thank you so much, guys. Guys and gals. When I say guys, I mean gals as well. We have a good mix of each, which is really great. I love it. I love it. Okay. Trading is such a lonely thing, isn't it? So when you have like a little you group together, you kind of feel like you're in some sort of a community. And that's what it is. It's a little bit of a community here. And I see yeah, people from all over. Where are you all from, folks? Why don't you just punch in the questions box where you're all from here tonight? All right, let me know. Because I understand that we have people from all over the world on tonight. So I'm just curious to see where everybody is from here tonight. And okay, here we go. Texas, Oklahoma, Houston, Texas, Toronto, Canada, Greenville, South Carolina, Connecticut, Putnam, Connecticut, Richmond, Virginia, Montevero Beach, Florida. All right. DeBerry, Florida, UK, but live in Ecuador. Phil, okay. Southeast Pennsylvania, St. Louis, New Jersey, okay. Houston, St. Petersburg, Florida. Wow, all over the place. There's some more there. Another one from Fort Erie, Ontario. Roshan from Toronto. Roshan from Toronto. We have, oh man, Florida, New York, Miami, Georgia. They're all here. Everybody's here. There's one from California. All right, let's get started, folks. Good mix of people. You know what's really kind of funny? I noticed is, my sort of, neighbors and friends, they don't trade, like I'm kind of like the only one within, many miles of where I live that trades. And I'm kind of sensing that's the case with a lot of people. It's not like you can just go to the local coffee shop and find a bunch of traders. It's Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, Miami, Collingwood, Ontario, Palo Alto, California, North Carolina. Oh, all over the place. Nice to see you. All right. Excuse me, I'll clear my throat. Excuse me, and have a drink of water. I managed to save some. Yes, things always happen like that, don't they? Just as you're ready to start something big, that's when you sort of blow it and you just spill the water all over. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It'll dry up. My name is Hugh, folks, and it is Sunday, March the 9th, 2025. Again, questions box wide open for your questions and comments. I have to read this disclaimer. Actually, I'm going to let you read this disclaimer. I'm going to be quiet here for the next 20 seconds while you read the disclaimer. This is to keep us out of jail. All right. You alone are responsible for all your own trading, and past performance does not guarantee future results. And there I am, live and in living color, and I get to see you all here this evening. All right. So here's what I'm going to talk about here tonight, folks. We're going to talk about. I'm going to look for something. I got to try and find. I don't want to hide my webinar. Where's my avatar? If I show this up at the top, then I can look in the camera a little bit easier. Just need to find it. Okay. Give me half a second. Sorry, I'm a little disjointed here tonight, just because um, I'm in a strange place doing a strange job, and it's not my normal, not my normal environment, right? And that's what it is. So anyway, all right. I think if I move this, oh, don't want to hit that one. Yeah, that's probably a little bit better there. Okay, there we go. All right. Here we go. Sorry, just clearing my throat here. Okay, we're going to talk about what are we going to talk about? We are going to discuss last week's review, the upcoming week, 2-minute tutorial, answer your questions, and let's move on with our session here. Okay, again, I'm using two monitors, a little one and a big one here. So why listen to me anyway? Who am I, right? Seriously, did I spend any time in the on the trading floor? No, I did not. Although I was up at the gallery at the Chicago Board of Exchange here a couple of decades ago, I think probably about 25 years ago, for about an hour, and that was fun. But I found that most of those guys who listen to the been on the trading floor, well, they don't know a whole lot anyway. It's not like they know any more than you and I know. I remember one guy who was, I don't know what he was doing there. He didn't seem very smart at all. I thought, well, maybe he delivered the coffee. What do I know? But anyway, folks, my early years spent in the trenches. I come from corporate America many years ago. Started trading. I started really trading when I found out that my own financial advisor had lost about half my trading account. And I woke up that day. Well, I woke up that day realizing a couple things. Number one, nobody cares or should care more about my money than me. And that goes for each and every one of you. All right. And also with the internet, the power of the internet, we've got all the information we need at our fingertips, just like anybody else. Nobody else has any more information than you do available to you. Think about it, right? It's all there. So why would somebody else really be able to better do this than you can? The other thing is, I thought that, well, if there's a financial advisor or some trader, somebody managing accounts, they probably have a lot of accounts and probably a lot of accounts that are much more than mine, which they will probably care more about. Like, I just thought it was a little funny. So, it's kind of like, I guess, I don't know, just thinking here out loud, like handing your kids off to a caretaker who would care more about your kids than you. That's impossible, right? So you got to be careful about who uh, your caretaker is for your kids. When you send them to school and whatever. But anyway, I I quickly realized that I can learn how to do this myself. Especially coming from an internal audit for an insurance company, I realized like I knew a little bit about risk and I was comfortable with working with numbers. So why can't I do this as much as anybody else? That's kind of what my thinking was with this whole thing. So I learned how to do this myself. And I took all these courses and realized that a lot of these courses they just want to upsell you and I would buy all these courses too. Excuse me. I don't know what it is, but I've been talking all day here and just bear with me for a sec. I just wanted to tell you, get all excited. I get all excited because I took all these courses. I spent a lot of money. And I remember a few years ago, I was cleaning out my closet and I had all these courses. Half of them I didn't even open up. And my wife was saying, "Well, what are you getting rid of that for? You spent $5,997 on that one." I said, "Oh, I'm so happy you remembered right to the penny." You know? He says, "Well, why don't you put it on eBay or something or sell?" I said, "No, no, no, no." Excuse me. Why would I do that when I found something better than what these courses were telling me? And I don't know if you guys ever gone through these too, because I would take these courses and then I would go home and buy them and take them home and plug the DVD in or something, and it wasn't the same as the presenter was telling us. It was all different, and you call their support lines, and you got somebody overseas somewhere couldn't speak English. It was just anyway. I did realize a couple things. Okay, they weren't all wrong or anything like that. It's not that at all. It's just that everybody had a little different spin on things. And I realized a couple things. I realized that there's definitely money in the stock market. Definitely a lot of money in the stock market if you know what you're doing. So you just have to figure out what to do what to know what you're doing. It wasn't going to be easy. Excuse me. Nor was it going to come quickly. I had to learn this stuff. I did learn a lot, but most of what I really learned, I learned from deep in the trenches. When I started doing this on my own, I kept getting better and better. I started with the equities, of course, as most people do, and I transferred into, I looked at other things too, futures and Forex and different things. And long story short, I ended up day trading options on SPY. SPY. This is the stock that follows the top 500 stocks. Okay, actually, I started with SPX. I switched over to SPY. Wow, I just felt like I came home. I came in. This is my people. This is my system. I was very excited about it. Sorry, I'm just something caught in my throat. I don't know what it is. Probably dinner a little while ago. Anyway, I felt very comfortable trading these options on SPY, and then I discovered that day trading was even better because I like to make my money now. I cannot envision where the market's going to go a week from now, a month or a year from now, and realistically, especially with the news that is these days, and my gosh, it changes minute by minute, and holy smokes! So you see what happened Friday? You guys, anybody trade Friday here? You see what happened Friday? We're chugging along, and all of a sudden, the market collapsed, and 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 then I guess it was Powell started speaking. I think maybe Trump spoke in the market. I don't know. Something happened. Market collapsed, and and then it went back up. Uh, yeah, I was down. I think probably about 4 or 5 thousand, or was it 8,000? I can't remember now. But then it came back up. I actually made money. It was nuts. But anyway, folks. Other people noticed that I was making some serious money in the market, and they started coercing me on how to trade. Yeah, sure, I'll do what you ask. I'll put up on a website. So I had a rudimentary website. It's called estockoptiontrading.com or something. And every morning I would post when I'm looking to trade. And every afternoon, evening, I would post what I actually did trade. And then we used to get together every Thursday night, just have a little one-on-one. And this thing ballooned. It started ballooning. First of all, I thought it was going to last maybe a couple weeks or a month, right? This is not. It's going to fizzle out. Nothing's going to happen. But then, I started bringing home a lot of toys and stuff, and life was pretty good. And then they coerced me into showing them more, and they got more and more people. Anyway, things just ballooned and ballooned and ballooned, and it'd be about what 2.5 years ago now. Yeah, maybe that. Eagle bought us out, and now we are doing our trading room, our world famous trading room. um, or maybe some people say infamous. No, it's world famous trading room. Every morning, I think it's the longest running trading room that I know of. Okay, that we know of, and we're doing this since 2010, and it's now 2025. We're still here. Anyway, real deal, folks. We have been trading internationally for a long time, and we like to look for short-term breakout trades. Make a little bit of money every day, every day, every day, every day, right? And that's I think, the whole secret to success on making a lot of money on the stock market. Thank you for that, Alexei. Alexei is one of my uh, one of our subscribers. Says, "You, I think you need a haircut." Uh, yes, it's funny you say that because I was thinking of getting a haircut before I came down. I said, nah, I'm just gonna wait till I get down to Florida, then I'll get a haircut. But it didn't happen today. So during the week, I'm sure it will happen. Not a problem. Anyway, Folks, want to mention to you, if you're not already subscribing to Spy in the Market, please join us in that. All you have to do is go to our website, daytradespy.com, and leave us your email address on the pop-up. It's just hang around there for a few seconds. The pop-up comes up, give us your email address, and then you're going to get this free e-newsletter delivered right into your inbox. You don't even have to go to the mail to check it. It goes right in your inbox every Thursday. It's light reading. It's brief. It's a 3-minute read, roughly light, relevant, or irrelevant. Is that the way you say it? Entertaining. Subscribe. And this week's topic is: Are you addicted to trading? I think you'll really find it interesting. Are you addicted to trading? I think you might find that you are. Okay, we're gonna start an addiction thing here. I think we're gonna all sit around in a circle. Hello, my name is Hugh, and yes, I am addicted to trading, and I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I love it. Right? And you're not gonna change me. Right? Uh, oh, sorry about that. Chair's making a lot of noise. I'm getting it closer here. I don't really like using headphones, but I was too lazy to drag a big microphone here and speakers, so I thought I'll just pack this little headphone here and this little headset. Other people use these, so it can't be all that bad. So anyway, all right. Reminds me of my old radio days. Used to be on the radio many years ago. Excuse me, it's an oldies station, and we used to play old oldies. Yes, those were fun times. Took me through school. Anyway, here's what happened last week, folks. This is what the stock market looked like last week. All right. Let's just expand this out a little bit here. There we go. Let's take a look. Sorry. Monday, higher than forecast PMI reports pushed SPY down, compounded by Trump tariff speak. Okay, so tested technical support, then we jump back up. So what happens is this. Every time Trump speaks, the markets move. Every time Powell speaks, the markets move. Volatility sets in, all right? And we're up around we're earlier, several weeks ago, I guess it would be now a couple of weeks ago, we're up at very high resistance levels, all-time highs. Whenever you get to these all-time highs, you're going to get to these very solid resistance levels, and the market tends to come. It doesn't take much to push the market down. Okay. But then you get these guys, they talk it up, and the market gets all of a sudden very confident. The other day, Trump spoke. He did the State of the Union address. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember now which one it was, somewhere in there. And he always tends to um, he tends to build up the market a lot. He's a very convincing gentleman when it comes to the market, and the market does like to go up. So we had the market go up here. I guess this is actually early in the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is actually on Friday. The reason I brought Friday in was because um, you had to show this increase. You had to show this increase, and up to this level, up around that 595, and then it came down. Um, so what we're seeing here is probably uh, probably should have expanded the market hours, which is the black background. The gray background is during the market times here. But so we ran up here and it came back down. On Tuesday, more worry over what was turning into a global tariff war. SPY continued to drop. Technicals pushed it higher, but struggled to hold above what's that, 580. We got in here, and then on Wednesday, we saw some encouragement by lower non-farm employment change. Services PMI took hold and brought it down to the mid 582 level, holding well into post-market. Thursday, some more economic news. Lower than forecast unemployment claims toyed with markets, but again, Trump spoke and shed some uncertainty on tariffs, inching SPY lower for the fourth day in a row. We've been stepping down here 4 days in a row on the market because of the tariffs worry. He's extended the tariffs to Canada, against Canada, I think until April the 2nd. He was going to do it April the 1st, but he didn't want it to be thought of as an April Fool's joke. He took it the 2nd of April. Um, Now, I don't know what is going to happen, but I heard that the Ontario Premier Doug Ford is going to implement tariffs first. on electricity, 25% tariff on electricity to the US. And there are several states that are getting their electricity from Ontario, so they're going to be paying higher rates. Excuse me. And I find this a little incredible because it almost sounds like Ontario is going to be taking the first shot in this tariff war. And Canada was always supposed to be responding to tariffs, not triggering it. So we'll see what happens. So is this what it is? Trump has been baiting Canada and Ontario is taking the bait and going to fire first, which was going to give Trump reason to increase tariffs. Uh-huh. Is this part of the strategy? I don't know, but it could get really messy. And tariffs anywhere there is going to affect everybody on both sides of the border. It's not just going to hurt one country, not the other. I mean, it's all interrelated. Our whole economies are interrelated. So I'm not really sure if they thought all this through very well. So I'm kind of hoping that this is going to be, I'm hoping the adults are going to come back in the room. Let's put it that way. So we'll see what happens. But on Friday, we had employment numbers kicked SPY over the edge. It was a rough week, but Powell's comments lend confidence, pushed SPY back up to the upper 575s to wrap up the week, more than 2% lower than what it started. So we, excuse me, we had a very interesting week here, and not sure how it's gonna, playing out, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, that was last week. All right, that was last week, and here's a look at the seasonals. All right, here's a look at the seasonals, and for those who don't know, the blue line at the top is where SPY is now, and the red line at the bottom is the composite of the last 5 years closing price on the daily chart. Okay, so I know it doesn't really show much when you look at it like this, but if we squeeze it together and the zero in on the week before and the week after, you'll find that historically SPY remained flat from last week, and it had actually dropped 7 points in the following week. So those of you who take note of seasonal markets, we could still see a further drop in the coming week. Not really sure, but it's just something to be aware of that markets don't always go up; they don't always go down. But if we follow the seasonal, there's no assurance it's going to happen again this week, right? This time. But if it does follow the seasonals, we still may see a further drop in the market. So we're going to wait and see what happens there. All right. So it's going to be interesting. So yes, there we go. Let's move on to the next one. Next slide here. What happened last week? Economic growth slowed, but markets are adjusting accordingly. They are slowing, but markets are adjusting accordingly here. And while it's not uncommon for Q1 growth to soften, this time it's a little different. It's due to policy uncertainty, tariffs, government funding, and cost-cutting initiatives. I think in prior years it was more to do with earnings, but earnings seem to be okay this year, but it's due to these other sort of more macro reasons. The U.S. economy started from a positive position of strength this year. Momentum could reemerge. We're going to see what happens. Markets are in a defensive mode right now. Healthcare and consumer staples leading. Tech sector is lagging, and the Feds expect to be patient on rates, but indicated a possible 3 cuts in 2025, especially if the labor market weakens. At the end of the year, it was down, I think, two cuts, and then they were questioning whether they were going to cut at all earlier this year. But now there's some chatter about possibly 3 cuts if inflation takes its hold and moves markets higher. So the economy, yeah, the markets higher, the economy rather. So I'm just also wondering whether this is, and I've heard all kinds of conspiracy theories here with these tariffs and what Trump's overall objective is. Is he trying to create inflation so that the Feds lower interest rates, attracting more industry back into the U.S.? I don't know how this all looks, but some people even suggested that Trump is very much aware of the stock market, and he even, perhaps even had his friends and family and everything else short the market just so he can talk it up, push it back. All kinds of conspiracy theories. I try not to listen to anything, but at the same time, you got to kind of be aware of what they're talking about, right? That was last week. Here's a take a look here. Markets Now expect the three Fed rate cuts here in 2025. They're still trying to push the interest rates down into the levels that we've seen here, 375 by the end of the year. Where are we now? We are at what, 4.5 coming down here. So they're still trying to get this thing down. We'll see what happens. That was last week. Okay, there. U.S. trade policy uncertainty is higher than it was back in 2019. Okay, so I believe that was when he was in power last, and then things sort of settled down here. But now there's a lot of trade uncertainty in the market. One thing the markets can handle, they can handle good news, they can handle bad news. But what markets do not like is uncertainty in the markets. That's why you see a lot of negativism coming in the markets. Taking a look at what happened last week on the indexes or indices, SPY, all right, S&P 500 dropped 3.1%. So year to date, we're down just about 2%. Um, the Nasdaq is down almost 6%. Interestingly enough, the Dow was up 0.6% year to date. That's the only kind of a winner right now in the markets right now. So, but I'm pretty sure it's going to come back up before too long. Folks, I want to have a little interaction here. I'm going to throw this poll out at you, and just to kind of see, and we talk about this in the trading room a lot. I just want to see what's your take on President Trump's tariff policy? Do you agree with him? Do you support him? Yes, no, or not sure? If you say it depends, it's not sure. Yes, no, not sure. Not going to be held against you. Not going to get, we don't know who you are, nothing like that. Just put in the questions box how you feel about Trump's tariff policy, and I've heard all kinds of mixed opinions on that. So, and okay. Yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no. I do not support. I do support. Yes, yes, I support. Not sure. No, no. Those seems to change daily. Yeah. Yes, no, not sure. Wow. No, no, no. Yes, no, yes, no. Yes. No. John H says yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, just like Trump. Yeah, that's causes inflation. Definitely, yeah, no. I said, wow, mixed bag. Lots of people agree. Lots of people disagree. There's a few not sures. Yes, although maybe some pain in the short run, but better employment and economy in the long run. I don't know. Personally, I believe in the free market, and if you've got the resources to make something better, you should have the opportunity to trade. A lot of yes nos. I think protectionism is so, what's the word? Provincial, parochial. I don't know. I like free markets myself. We're in a global society. I'm thinking here, and da, 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 da. Rod says, long story short, tariffs is weak tea, makes them look like a paper tiger. A lot of not sure's that, man, don't they cost the consumer? Bruce, you know what? And here's the thing. My opinion on tariffs is, yeah, who do you think is going to absorb these tariffs? The manufacturers? Maybe a little bit on the short term, but ultimately it's going to be the consumer that pays. All for reciprocity. Yeah, I agree totally. Hey, listen, if they're going to tariff us, we should tariff back, right? The same thing. I think, but I think the discussion should be held first. I think the opportunities to cut tariffs should be held first. So, in other words, let's take Canada, for instance, if they are putting tariffs on milk products or I don't know, other food products or something, if they're trying to protect their marketing board, so maybe they should have a little word with the marketing boards and say, listen, not a good idea. We want to be able to bring in our banking, our agriculture, or whatever. That's just my um, that's just my opinion here, but we actually have a good mix. Short-term pain, long-term gain, free markets for sure. Tariffs hurt all parties, absorbed by the consumer. I totally agree with you, Mark, on that one. Yeah, we should. Why should we tolerate asymmetric tariffs? Same tariffs as our trading partners, totally. Many countries don't follow free market policies. I don't know. Well, so in other words, I'm thinking here too. Here's another comment here. Tariffs should be very selective on things. You should not just blanket 25% over a whole country, you know. And it's okay. Since costs get past the consumer, will lead to inflation, may be countered by reducing interest rates. Okay, problem is that other countries have had a lot more tariffs on us than we have had on them. Maybe it's time to maybe it's time to, yeah, even the playing field in that regard. Any country that puts tariffs on American goods, I think, should have tariffs on them. Yeah, I mean, it should be a level playing field, right? It's kind of like I'm not a golfer, but I think there's something like a handicap or something. So you're trying to balance the skills, right? Something like that. Let's see. Okay, Congress should approve an outlet and put them on by executive order. Yes. Okay. Okay, dear, I can't see where to answer. Lisa, you answered right there. The questions box. That's where I want the answers. Right in the questions box. Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on. Oh, good talking points. I'll tell you, that is a mixed bag, folks. All right, the week ahead, Monday, low, no news day. Tuesday, JOLTS, job openings. We've got CPI reports, another inflationary report on Wednesday, unemployment claims, and another inflationary report, PPI reports on Thursday. And on Friday, we've got the University of Michigan consumer sentiment and also an inflation expectation report coming up on Friday. That's the week ahead. So what does that do for volatility? Consider it low on Monday, medium on Tuesday, high on Wednesday and Thursday, and back to medium on Friday. Now, Trump seems to talk just about every other day, right? If not every day. And whenever he speaks, expect volatility to spike. Okay, spike volatility whenever Trump speaks. And not always, but usually these days the market tends to go up when he speaks. Although I think on Friday, I'm not really sure when he spoke, but I know that the market ran up, came back crashing down, and then Powell pushed it back up with some of his comments. So these guys are, I'm telling you, I think they know full well what they're doing, and it will not surprise you if, and again, this is just conjecture on my part, but I'm pretty confident they probably, well, I shouldn't say these things. I'm just speculating here, but let's put it this way. I think they know what's going on at the market when they say these things. So anyway, all right, a 2-minute tutorial here. 2-minute tutorial. There we go. I've got all this junk on my table here. My wife puts on all this loose change. It's all over the place. I got to move it over. And I did some real trades this last week. I'm gonna pass these on to you, show you what I did. And I think you'll take a little interest on these. So here's the chart listing of all of my trades. These are real trades using Schwab Thinkorswim, and I didn't tell you how many contracts I had put in there. All right, but I want to kind of go over these. So how much money I invested isn't the relevant thing, as much as how much profit each trade made. My first trade way down here is listed. It is listed, chronologically from the bottom up. Okay. First trade, I made 55 cents in 13 minutes. Second trade, 38 cents in 14 minutes. So some days I did, one or two or three trades. Every day was a little bit different here. We're going back to March the 3rd, two trades. So I made, what is that, about 30, about 40, what's that, about 94 cents on the first day. Second day, 38 cents in 2 minutes. And let me just fix this typographical error here in 2 minutes. There we go. Let's do this again. Okay. There's 38 cents in 2 minutes, 42 cents in 1 minute. This is on the 4th of March. Had a pretty good day here. Another 61 cents in 8 minutes. And then got into March the 4th. I bought some options for $6.08. These are puts. But I sold them the next day for a $2.08 loss. I did not like that at all. I did not like that at all. And however, I got back into the game, picked up 16 cents in 15 minutes. And then again, another 24 cents in 2 3/4 hours. 80 cents in 15 minutes. That's on March the 6th, which is Thursday. Another 31 cents in 2 minutes. Trade number 11, 29 cents in 2 minutes. And trade number 12, 82 cents in 8 minutes there. That was a heavy trade. And one final trade there up at the top. Trade number 13 picked up 7 cents in almost 3 hours. And that was on calls. So what happened was I got into that thing for $8.28 at 10:05. The market crashed, but I held on because this was going to expire next Friday. And with the comments from Powell and or Trump, I felt pretty confident the market was going to come back up. So I held on and I sold that at 1:53 p.m. for $8.35. I was down actually. Um, I think it was about 50% or so on that one. I mean, the market really tanked, but the worst thing to do was sell it for a loss like that when you have time, right? When you have time, you should be fine. That's kind of what I like to say. So, so overall, it was a pretty good week for me. But I noticed a couple things here. One of which was this put trade here. The only loss I had was on puts. And I was telling everybody in the trading room there the other day, I said, I'm not really a big fan of puts. I know you can make some money, and I have made money in puts here. I'm not going to kid you. I got one, two, three, four put trades, three trades. Actually, one, two, three successful trades, and then the big loss on the puts. All the rest of the trades were calls. And the market actually went down, what, 2, 3% for the week. And I still made most of my money on calls. My trade that was the big challenge was on puts. So for that reason, I'm not a big fan of puts, but I mean, I have made money, but still, I think when I add in the puts here, let me see. Excuse me here, 38 cents, 42, what's that? 80 cents, 80 cents, $1.41. So I made money $1.41 in puts, but I lost 208. So I keep a log, okay? I keep just like everybody should keep a log. I keep stressing that, keep a log. And then in the log you should have a comments column where you write in how the trade went. And in my notes column, I always have issues whenever I have a problem with anything. I'll put some notes in my notes, some comments in my notes column. And when I go back and I see where I had challenges or losses, it always seemed to be, I would say 90%, 95% of the time it was on puts. It was on puts. So that's the reason I shy away from puts. But look, if I only traded 10 contracts on each, okay, I'm not going to tell you how many contracts I actually traded, but if this is only on 10 contracts each, here what the results would have been. The net gain from all this whole week would have been $2.88 or a profit of $2,880, excluding commissions. Okay. That is on an average investment of $7,538. Okay, so I would say, not sure what that is, roughly, what's that, about a 30% gain or something? Even with that massive loss I had on, what's the date here? March the 5th. March the 5th, right? Is that when it was? When did I lose that day? March the 5th, yeah. So even with that loss, I'm still up, quite a bit, right? If that was only 10 contracts each. So that's kind of the way it works. So I guess the thing to get off of this, the point of this whole exercise is to trade small, trade often, and trade with time to expiration. I can't stress that enough. Even though this comment comes up a lot. Well, Hugh, you're day trading, you're going in and out in a few minutes. Why would you worry about getting into something next week? Well, for this very reason, folks, whoever said anybody who thinks that way, it's a legitimate question, but this is what can happen. Now, if this trade that I had done right here, and I'm kind of glad looking at it in hindsight that I actually had this exercise on March the 4th, I got into the puts. Well, I can't remember. I guess obviously the market went up that day or whatever. But what happened was here, if the market turns against you and you don't have a lot of time, if you're gonna have a same day expiration or next day expiration, even 2 day expirations, that premium gets sucked out real fast. And they're not very fast in putting it back in, right? I mean, you know that. So, but if you have a lot of time on your side, then that theta loss is not that much. It's not that bad, and you can recover fairly easily. And there's a lot of activity that happens in the week. Let's say you have a week till expiration. Well, you saw the charts how the markets vacillate up and down, and it's nothing to see 10, 15 points vacillating 20 points in a week. So if you have reason to believe that the market's going to go in your direction in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 days, then try and go in that general direction, right? Try and go in that general direction. And don't go for the moon, just go for those small gains. Trade small, trade often with time expiration, and you should be fine. And you can weather those storms. I think of them as storms, right? You're out on the lake in your sailboat, and oh my gosh, look at the clouds rolling in. Can't get back to shore in time. Let's just, I don't know, drop the anchor, drop the sails. We're going to bob up and down for a while and just try to keep the keel in the water, you know, and hang on, right? Just hang on for the ride, right? The storm will pass. It will pass. And that's kind of the way I look at the market. And that's why buying time, you should be fine. And so the key there is that people say, well, options are expensive. Well, so what? They cost more. Look at the volatility. Unless the volatility is through the roof, right? You still want some pretty good volatility in there, but you don't want to go crazy volatility. I, excuse me, I think volatility around 2025 implied volatility percentage is good. Um, if you have very high volatility, that's not good because then when they suck the volatility out of it, then you're kind of stuck, right? Then you're losing premium, right? If you have very low volatility, you're not going to make very much money because it's not moving very fast. But so let's say, yeah, so they're expensive, but it doesn't matter because when you sell them, you're going to get your money back anyway. So what if an option costs you, $6 or $7, right? So just buy fewer options. You're going to sell it for that much and even more, you know. So, and that's actually really good for scalping too. You're going to see a lot of movement on those expensive options. And if you're, say, shooting for a dime or 15, 20 cents, you're going to get it more so on those more expensive options than you're going to get it something that's going to cost you only $1. Anyway, that's kind of what that's all about. And yeah, there's a lot of money there. So, all right, okay, okay. And by the way, 32 cents. When I say something like 32 cents, that means $32 on a contract. So if you're trading, thanks for that, Renee. Good point. So anybody who's not familiar with options, you might think, well, wait a second, you guys are talking about making what, 42 cents, 32 cents or something? That's not a lot of money. So on each contract, let's take a look at something like this, 31 cents, 31 cents. Well, that's really $31 on a contract. Now I'm thinking here, I don't know what most people are trading, but I'm guessing that most people are maybe trading around that 10 contracts or something. Uh, you know, so if you have 10 contracts, you may just make 31 cents. Trade number 10, well, you just made $310 less commission. If it's a contract, so you just made $300 in 2 minutes. Is that so bad? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's that. All right, so let's move on here. So we're doing this little project here, taking 5,000, turning it into 50,000 by the end of the year, hopefully even more. And we've been going pretty good with it. I did have a bit of a setback here several days ago, again on March the 5th. This was the same time. I didn't write down as to which contracts I am buying here. I think it's just kind of a summary. Back on that day, I took a hit for $4,993 on a trade. And but I took another trade as well, made $258. Net loss 47.35 that day. But we're inching it back up. We're back up to just a minus 627 of where we're supposed to be here. I'm not worried about that. Our budget variance has been very positive. It's just the last several days that we hit the negative here, but we're inching back toward that. And right now we're trading. So it started on January the 6th, little project that we're doing, and we're taking 5,000, turning into 50,000, but I'm kind of shooting for a lot more than that. Anyway, we started trading $5,000 every 2 months. We up it by 1,000. And just now in March, we're now trading $6,000 per trade. We're getting in, making a few bucks. Our daily gain is expected to be $240. And you can see the last 2 days we've been going over that. In fact, most of the days that we do trade, we are actually making more than that. There's some days where we actually don't trade, but we're inching our way back up, and I'm not the least bit concerned, doing very well. So here are the rules and the assumptions, guidelines that we are looking at here. Number one, we're not inhibited by the pattern day trade rules. You can trade multiple times a day. In other words, we've got over $25,000 in this whole uh, account. This person actually has a Schwab account. He's got a lot of money in it, but he's only starting with, say, $5,000 in his trading account. He wants to make 50,000 a year, but he can trade in and out as many times as he wants. Okay, no hurry. Follow the setups. Use scalps. If the trade does not present itself for whatever reason, don't take the trade. Trying to not to push it. Okay. The setup, basically, we're looking for 10 EMA crossing over the 20 EMA. EMA is exponential moving average. We're looking at longer term 50-minute charts, trigger off the 1 minute chart, looking for chart patterns. We look at news, right? Any macro kind of news that is coming out that we need to concern ourselves with? Is there any um, speakers coming up? Any Fed announcements coming up, different things like that. Look at news, anticipate longer term direction. You can always buy time unless there's a quick short term trend that's presenting itself. But even at that, I don't think we bought any same day or next near day. We always bought time in this. Okay, always bought time. And we're looking at again starting on the schedule. We're now trading $6,000 per trade. And the thing is here, when you hit your target, stop trading, done for the day, unless you're on a roll. I don't. It's funny. I give you these rules, but then of course I put this little thing in about if you want to break them, you can. Um, but I'm trying to not overtrade. I know that if you overtrade, at least if I overtrade, I usually I come to regret it. So I try not to overtrade. I like to focus on calls. Now, if the market does tank, I like to wait for the reversal ideally, but there's sometimes when I see, you know what, it's still going down more. So John and I in the trading room will discuss it. This is where we do this in the trading room, folks. We discuss this, and we're looking here at if there's some more room to the downside, well, maybe we'll still take some puts. But again, looking at turning 5,000 to possibly 100,000 by the end of the year. Of course, rules can change as conditions change. So what am I going to give you here? I'm going to give you some information on what we do, especially for the new people who've never seen this before. We've got several programs that are very interesting, that are really, really, really good. One is the DayTradeSPY Signal. This is especially good for those of you unable to get to a computer first thing in the morning, and perhaps you're working or you're taking the kids to school or whatever, and suddenly you get on your cell phone this text message, buy the whatever option it is. Pull over to the side of the road, pull up your app, get into the trade, put up for sale for a 5% profit target. You should hit that before the end of the day. If the end of the day comes, you're still holding it, sell it for the market price. Okay. But you should be out of that trade usually very quickly. All right. This thing is algorithm based, morning trades. There's not going to be anything in the afternoon. By the way, we deliver these trades 3 to 5 times a week. And immediately buy, put up for sale, like I say, for 5%. And if it's not sold by the end of the day, sell it on market. It's been working extremely well. I think we're looking around, I don't know, I just want to say 90% success rate, something like that. Now I want to tell you, you can go to the website, all right, you can go to the website, daytradespy.com, and buy all these programs there. But instead of that, and this is the benefit of coming out of the Sunday night sessions, right? Instead of going to the website, contact customer service at daytradespy.com. Ask them, what's your best price on the DayTradeSPY signal or any of the other services? And they'll usually give you a better price than we can get online on the internet. Okay. I tell you, it's kind of like a little secret. It's like an inside secret. And a lot of people do this, and they email me back and say, Hugh, thanks for that tip. All right. And next thing I want to tell you is about this thing called the pick of the day, an excellent program, similar to the signal, but different. So this is a particular option that is emailed to you every morning, 9 o'clock Eastern time. All right. 5 times a week. This is a hand-picked trade. So John and I get together every morning and we hammer out all the news, the Twitter feeds, or X, I guess they call it now, formerly Twitter. we get all the news, we get the chart patterns, the support, resistance, all that technical stuff, Fibonacci and Andrews Fisher, all that. We put it all in a big blender, right? Mix it all up, right? And see what comes out. And then we'll tell you what our trade of interest is to be bought right at market open. So when the opening bell comes, right? When the opening bell comes, you're going to make sure the bid ask spread is nice and tight. So you might want to wait a few seconds for that to happen. And then if it's going, excuse me, in your direction, you buy right then. On the 1 minute chart, if it's going against you, wait until it turns back around. You'll get it for a cheaper price. Then immediately put up for sale for a 6% profit target, and you should get that fairly soon as well. All right, it's actually very good. And these trades can actually be held overnight if you want. And I should tell you that just like with the signal, many of our traders make a lot more than that 5 or 6%. All right, they make a lot more than that. In our trading, we actually teach you how to really extend those profit targets. We tell you a target of 5 or 6% because you have to have a standard by which to measure success, and that's the way we do it. All right. You have to have a standard by which to. So if I'm going to get 2% or whatever, it's not worth the trouble or the risk, right? If I don't expect it to make at least 5 or 6% or more, it's just not worth the trouble or the risk to me. So I'm not going to do it. So that's why we put those targets in to measure success. But there are a lot of people that are following those indicators that we talk about in the trading room, and they come out really making a lot of money on these things. So, and again, just like with the signal, contact customer service at DayTradeSPY for pricing. And my next service is the inner circle. This is what started 15 years ago. All right. This is what started this whole business by fluke by our morning market analysis at 9 o'clock. John, my cohort, he sends this out and quite a comprehensive analysis he does. This is sent into your inbox at 9 o'clock. Now, we are not that smart. We are just not that smart to know where the market's going to go a week from now, a month from now, or a year from now. I mean, that's just, especially when the markets change hour to hour, as you know, right? But we got a pretty good idea where it's going to go today. All right, you got a pretty good idea, and we're pretty good at that. So we give you a flash assessment as to where SPY is expected to go that day. And then we follow up later in the day with our report as to what we actually did and where the market went. So these are very brief summaries. They're not, unless John writes them. He likes to write a lot. But they're good summaries. They're not lengthy reads. And we get it to tell you what we did. All right. You'll also be invited to our Wednesday night meetups and bring all your questions there. All right. If you're an Inner Circle member, any questions at all related to SPY or charts or Schwab charts or Tasty Trade or chart patterns or trends, support resistance, anything at all. All right, we answer your question. That's your opportunity to engage with us and learn from us. And you're also going to get the first notices of any upcoming events. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret here. I'm not going to. I'm not supposed to share this yet, but it's not been finalized. I don't think. But coming up in the spring, we are going to have a very comprehensive training program. You're going to get everything from A to Z, and I'll tell you more about it as we get closer to it. And you will be no doubt notified uh, many times about the ultimate training program that we're going to be talking about. But can't say too much about it now, but just brace yourself for a massive training program. And if you've never traded anything in your life, this is where you want to be. Okay, you're going to want to be in there. So again, for the inner circle, contact customer service at DayTradeSPY for pricing. And the final program I want to talk about is our trading room, hosted by yours truly and John every morning. This is where strategies come alive. We do this every morning, 9:20 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, right? If you know what calls and puts are, you need to be here. Learn and earn. These are interactive, exciting trading sessions. We teach what we trade what we teach, and here too, you get your answers, your questions answered, right? And again, we've been trading live since 2010. Again, contact customer service for the best pricing, but I can tell you, uh, the best pricing that I know of is something like 6.99 for a quarter, which is roughly the cost. Let me go back to that again. I like this guy. I like this guy. Yeah, I think he's pretty cute. That didn't come out right. He's pretty funny. The big eyes. All right. I don't know how you can afford not to subscribe to this. Basically, less than a Subway sandwich a day, and you have access to pro traders. John and I each have 20 plus years trading experience. I like to say we've seen it all. We've gone through recessions, good times, bad times, mediocre times. We've seen a lot of ups and downs. We've traded, we make money. You saw that I made money this last week. I didn't cherry pick those trades. I put them all up there for you, all right? I'm not saying it to brag. That's not it at all. I'm just showing you that even on a volatile market week, most of the money I made still was in calls and a few puts. But um, this is what we do. We teach you how to fish every day in the trading room. So you can learn how to fish or you can get a fish every day. Our day trade spy signal and the pick of the day, they give you a fish so you can eat that day, right? But wouldn't it be nice to know how to fish? So let's say John gets, he loves to bicycle, right? He goes on these massively long bike rides, 20, 30, 100-mile bike rides. Um, really, he did. He did 100 miles last week. So let's say something happens to him. He gets hit by a truck and he's gone. And let's say something happens to me and I get sick and die. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to. We have no plans to check out, but isn't it nice to know how to do all this? And that's what we do in the trading room. We teach you this stuff. All right. And by the way, there are some people that are doing much better than us. All right. And I love them. I'm proud of them. They check in and with their comments and stuff. We ring a bell, and oh my gosh, just absolutely really cool. Anyway, trading room, 6.99 for a quarter. You can't beat that anywhere. All right, let's get to some questions here, and then we're gonna wrap up. I don't want to keep you all night here, folks. I know you're probably busy here tonight and doing whatever you do, and not sure if if my wife wants to go out or something. And I think she, you know what? Oh man. She is such a sucker for this Disney World. She always wants to go to Disney, downtown Disney, whatever they call it now, Disney Springs or something. She likes to walk around there. It's okay, fine. And she loves to go shopping there and just people watching and stuff. So probably go out there later tonight. I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens. Either that or maybe she can go and I'll just hang out here and relax tonight. That's so anyway. All right, let's get to some questions here. She loves. We both love Florida. It's just the weather. Just the weather. What are your expected results of high volatility? Should we expect higher trading range, lower lows? Okay, Rich. By the way, congratulations to Rich McSee. I remember you. I remember you, Rich. You are the one. Okay, so every now and then we have these contests in the trading room where we ask you to submit where you think SPY is going to close that day. And the winner gets our updated 2025 version of Triumphs and Tragedies. Now, this is the beauty of an ebook. I don't know if it's a good thing or a curse, but we update these things quite often. And these are stories, true stories of people that have come through our world in the last 10, 15 years, whatever. And just brief stories of people and how they did. And there's some really great stories of some triumphs and some horrible stories about some tragedies. And I think it's pretty lengthy. Rich, what is it, about 42, 44 pages now? I'm not really sure. But anyway, Rich predicted where SPY was going to close on Friday. And he came to, I think I want to say within like 30 cents or 35 cents or something, or the close was just spectacular. So he got the free ebooks, which is really great. So here's the thing with high volatility. You get high volatility, you get some real wild moves. And you can see moves going 5, 10, 15 points on SPY, which is a lot. And and the options also have some wild swings. So let's say you're scalping and you're just trying to make, say, 20 cents or 15 cents on a trade. So let's say you're looking for, 10 cents on 100 contracts. Well, that's $1,000, right? But even on 10 contracts, a 10-cent move, that's $100. Now you might not think that's a lot, but these options can move like that many, many times during the day. They bounce, they bowl, they go up, they go down, and I would say more often than not, especially on my calls, I get taken out for more money than I first expect. So I might have I might buy an option for say $6. I'll put it up for sale for 6.20, but then suddenly there's a spike in the stock and the volatility shoots up, and I get taken out at 6.30, 6.35. Whoa, well, that was a bonus. Like it just shoots right through my exit price. And that's the nice thing about volatility. Conversely, it can go down just as easily, right? And then it's a question of, okay, are you resilient enough? Can you hold off on your emotions? I know that on Friday when the market tanked, people were emailing me, "Oh, you, what are you going to do with those calls you got? Oh my gosh, the calls, you lose all your money. You're down 40%, 30%, 50%, 80%, And I said, let's talk about this later this afternoon, okay? I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm just going to sit back. It's still the morning. I still have 4 hours left. There's still a lot that's going to happen between now and the 4 o'clock bell. As it turned out, I ended up making some money on it. So it's a real test for your patience. There's no question about it, but it can be done. So anyway, let's get to some more questions here. When is the recording available? Missed the first 30 minutes. Kenneth, no problem. I believe, okay, so what happens is we produce the recording, we send it over to the people at Eagle Financial Publications, and then they post it online probably tomorrow. Should be there tomorrow, okay? I haven't seen Mr. Aaron. He is okay. I talked to him yesterday, day before. He's doing fine. He is not part of DayTradeSPY anymore. He's kind of gone on his own somewhere. Seems to be doing okay on his own, I guess. But so we'll see what happens. Is that the person in training yet to be disclosed at is that the in-person training at a yet to be disclosed location? John, not really sure what you were talking about. This gentleman who is you're talking about with the 5 to 50K trade, John H. We're not going to disclose who he is. He asked not to be revealed. We actually have some pretty famous people that trade with us, and they like to remain anonymous. So we do respect that for these people. People are people, right? Everybody does something, and some people do some things that are a little more out there, and they don't want to be known in the trading world. Um, so we'll see what happens. And we have all kinds of people: sports figures, entertainers, media people, news people, all kinds of stuff. Are you still doing the occasional scalping? I think most of what I trade is scalping. Even though I actually make more money than a normal scalp, but I would say most of what I do is actually scalping. Starts out as a scalp, but turns in a little more, I go for a little more than just a few cents type of thing. So, all right. What resources do you use to monitor the economic political news? Scott C. Well, we use a lot of stuff. Okay, we actually we're actually um, linked in with a lot of different sources. I like to use. I don't think I'm going to get all of them, but I like to use. Okay, so Forex Factory is a pretty good scheduler for events coming out. It's a free service, forexfactory.com. I also like to use Wall Street Journal. Um, I use bar charts. I use Market Watch, yes, CNN and Fox. Just brief, you know, I try and look for balanced news. So I put it all together. I use Twitter feeds, different feeds. I am locked into different news feeds there. Um, yeah, we use a lot of technicals that we get into, chart patterns, support resistance. John, he's good at Fibonacci and Pitchfork and I think some other things. And I look at support resistance chart patterns I mentioned. Um, trend trend lines. So we all have we do our analysis and then we get together in the morning, usually around quarter to nine, 10 to 9, John, and then we'll discuss our findings, right? We look at macro events, what's coming up news-wise, what's coming up technically, and then we have to make a decision. And every now and then, the decision is a no trade. So if John and I cannot agree on something, we might have a no trade. Sometimes, every now and then, I think it happened a while ago, we had a couple days there where there was no trade due to high volatility. So if the volatility is through the roof, it's better to not be in a trade wishing you were than to be in a trade wishing you weren't. All right. I think that's really important. So then we will suggest a no trade day. All right. No trade day. In other words, if the volatility is really, really high, those options are going to be very expensive. And if you were to get into them at the market open, then they suck the volatility out of it. So let's say you're paying $9.55 for an option, and you bought that at 9:30, 9:31. And then by 9:35, that option is now down at $8. You just lost a buck 55 just on the volatility squeeze. That's not good. You don't want, that's not what you want. Okay, that's not what you want. So that's kind of where that is. So, all right. Is there a level of volatility at which you will not trade? That's a good question, Wayne. Um, it's hard to tell because I want to know what's driving the volatility. And if I think that the volatility is going to come down, I would say personally, when the volatility is around 30, 35, I'm probably just going to sit on the sidelines. And here's the interesting thing. You'll also see when volatility is really high, you'll see the volume of trades go right down too. That means traders are sitting on the sidelines just watching and waiting. So for me, that I get a little more nervous when it's in the high 20s and 30s. And sometimes you'll see it really high. That's it. Just, nope, no trade today. No trade. That's it. Can you see that? No trade today. All right, there you go. There you go. The whole camera thing seems to take a few seconds. So anyway, all right, John H. You're talking about day trade spy swag. Anybody guys want some swag? Let me know if you want swag. We're kicking the idea around. Chart pattern, mouse pad, swag. Okay, I thought maybe the Day Trade Spy logo, maybe some jackets or shirts. How about shirts? Uh, okay. Lisa's asking if everyone else's screen is shutting down off and on and then coming back up. No, you're the only one, Lisa. I'm sorry. You're the only one that's complaining about that. I'll let you know if anybody else has that. I have inner circle for life. Are the others included? So, Lisa, I don't know what you have for life. I didn't know there was a lifetime subscription for the inner circle. I think they have this thing called um, Day Trade Spy Society, where you have everything for life, everything for life. And if you have that, then you should have the other services too. What I would recommend there, Lisa, is if you contact customer service at Day Trade Spy and just ask them, what do I have? And they'll check and they'll let you know. So, all right, another question with the Day Trade Spy signal. It's concerned about time turnaround. How quickly is the signal sent when the algo determines the signal and generally time frame when it can catch the trade? So usually if you grab that Day Trade Spy signal in the first 2 minutes after you receive it, you should be fine. You should be fine. If you're driving home, you get the signal at 10:05. You don't get home to in front of your computer until 10:30. That probably has made the move already or may have made the move already. So I would say don't trade the signal that day. If it has, if that much time has passed. You're generally supposed to get into the trade within 2 minutes of receiving the signal. So, question, was there talk about getting together in the spring? Yes, we're still hammering that out, possibly. I don't know if it's going to be in the spring or possibly in the fall. There is talk about um, a live event, a trading event. Keep posted on that. We'll keep you tuned into that. Not really sure when that's going to be now. We were thinking of the spring. Now it might be in the fall. Not really sure. We're kicking the idea around on that one too. So not really sure where it's going to be yet, but we're kicking the idea around. So we will keep you posted on that one too, Sarah. What was the end of the day price on SPY? Was it the winning price? I thought it was nailed at 575. No. And you know what, Ralph? I do not have the trading platform up on that. Um, Let me see. I don't have the number. But we do is we look at the final closing price on the SPY. That is what we use. And I don't have that. I don't have that number handy, so I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow in the trading room. So polo shirts. I like polo shirts. Maybe a hat. A hat polo. I like shirts. I like shirts and jackets. Yeah. No worries. Anyway, folks, I see it's now 9:12. 9:12 Eastern time. I kept you long enough. Thank you very much for your patience. If you stick around, you should get the trading room subscription form up on the board. So hope to see you in the trading room and some of the other services that we have. And if not, well, have a good one, folks. Good trading, everybody. Been a pleasure.
Give it all to you and trust the process and keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you